So let's take a look at my passive skill tree, the gear I'm using and the gems I'm using. And if you have any questions about the build, feel free to ask me in the comments. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with the passive skill tree. Starting as a witch, I took the spell damage to occultist dominion, and then right after that I take a new shield here, get up to deep wisdom. When you are here you can go for annihilation and you can go for arcane focus. I have heart and soul because when I'm leveling up this character, life is actually really helpful. I'm using chaos inoculation, so life doesn't give me any benefits. But before I switch over to use chaos inoculation, I'm really recommending taking some life in the skill tree. You can just respec them if you want later, because you're getting refund points when you're doing quests. So I have this one when I'm leveling up, and right now it is actually giving me a new shield and mana. I'm gonna go with that just a second why it gives me a new shield. When I went up here, you can see this Euro socket here. This one is energy from within. It converts all life nodes in the radius. You can see the radius here. So my heart and soul will give me energy shield instead of life, and my cruel proportion will give me energy shield instead of life. If you don't have this gem, it is not a must-have. Then you can just don't take these twos, don't take this one and this one, don't take this one, and this one. And just focus on taking some more energy shield and something else. And as I said before, I have cruel proportion. I have deeper forts. And I went down over here to take unnatural common, all of these nice nodes here. No, a wheel here. And I took mentor repair, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry. But this one here to give me cast speed and mana regen. Then this is later in the game. Before you go, don't go all the way here to Sealer's Oath, as I have here. You do it later in the game, because when you're respecing into chaos inoculation, then you're gonna take this one. But that is just later in the game. So let's go more. Let's go on the other side here. I went for a Nimbus. I went this way here because you need some dexterity in this build and also some strength. So I took Nimbus, went up here. This is pretending what gear you have, but I needed some increased dexterity and strength, so I took both of these nodes here. If you have enough strength and dexterity from your gear, you don't have to take this at all. So if you can, get some strength and dexterity on your gear instead of taking these nodes here, and then you have 2 or 3 nodes to take on something else. I also took Throat Secret. This is a heavily crit based build, so crit the damage multipliers is very useful in this build. Side note here, if you want some more damage you can take this one here. This one gives you fire and cold damage, but you're only gonna take this for the cold damage, and then you take another cold damage, and then you take Snow Forged. It gives you a good amount of crit chance and a nice amount of cold damage. So that's one option you can take. Then I went down here in the shadow area. I took life and energy shield. Again, I don't need a life, but it was very helpful when you're leveling up your character. Unfortunate, you don't close enough to take a Euro socket, so you can't use energy from within on these nodes here. But they still give you a good amount of energy shield, and it's a pretty convenient way to get to Doomcast. I took Written in Blood as well, which actually give you some strength, which are useful. I have Doomcast and this whole spell crit note wheel here. I have Growth and Decay, which this one is actually my mana regen setup. They give me 2%, 2% life regen, which are very helpful. That if you don't have taken Growth and Decay in these nodes here, don't take Sealer's Oath yet. Only take Seal of Oath when you have these 3 nodes here. And also I have taken Ghost River. Ghost River again. Only take Ghost River when you're respecing into Chaos Inoculation. I went down here to the cold heart, to the shadow area. I took Cold Heart Calculation. I took Elemental Focus. I have Assassination, and I have Trickstery. I also have Sniper for get increased projectile speed and also some projectile damage. And I have Nullification. It was a very convenient note and it gave you a good amount of energy shield and resistance and also some evasion. And that's pretty much it. One quick note here, Chaos Inoculation. I started using Chaos Inoculation when I was about level 60. Do not take Chaos Inoculation if you not have the gear for it or if you are not ready for it. Because if you don't have enough energy shield when you're taking this one, you will die a lot. So be careful when you're taking Chaos Inoculation. I really recommending take it at level 60 or higher. And then immediately when you're taking Chaos Inoculation, just go for this very, very nice energy shield note here. And Infused Shield, which are the best energy shield note in the entire game. Some side notes here. When I'm leveling up more, I'm going to take Fingers of Frost. Because I want to be able to freeze the enemy even more, which are very nice notes here. I'm going to take Snowforge, as I mentioned before, and I probably going to take this one here to get the Stormweaver, because it gives you a nice amount of cold damage. So that's some option for more damage. Anyway, that is my passive skill tree, and if you have any questions about the passive skill tree, feel free to ask me in the comments. And another side note, if you want even more energy shield, you can go for the life and energy shield notes here. And you can also go for this intelligence note here to get this use socket here, and then use another energy from within to get a massive amount of energy shield from this one. Well, so let's go into my gear, the gear I'm using. If you have any questions about the gear, as usual, feel free to ask me in the comments. So I using a dagger for the increased crit chance, and try to get a dagger with the usual as high spell damage as you can get, as high crit chance for spells as possible, as high global critical strike multiplier as possible, and then if you can get some mana regen or some resistance and all of that nice stuff. I'm using this helmet here. It's a very nice energy shield helmet. Give me a very good amount of energy shield. Also give me a good amount of resistance and also some mana. Very nice helmet. I'm using this shield here. It could be much better. It doesn't have any crit chance for spell or spell. It has a tiny amount of spell damage. But it's a very defensive. It's a very good energy shield. So. But there are a lot better shields, but this was the best one I had because I just wanted a mass amount of energy shield. But you can go for one with lower energy shield and more offensive capability. Here is the reason I can't get stunned. I'm using Eye of Cthulhu. I think I pronounced that right. It's actually not an expensive amulet. It actually gives a huge amount of item rarity, which is always nice. But the biggest thing it gives you can't be stunned. It actually is not an unwavering stun, so you can still dodge, you can still evade. So this is a very good, nice amulet, and you pretty much must have it because your stun duration is based on your life, and you only have one life, so you will get stun locked very, very easy without this one. So I really recommend getting this amulet here. It is not expensive to trade. I'm using a Dream Fragment for the purpose of not getting frozen or perma-freezed. It just gave me a huge amount of mana regen, and also gave me really nice maximum mana and some cold resist. So it's a very nice ring, and it's a little bit expensive. I think it costs like 20 chaos orbs, but I can be wrong about that. I'm using Rainbow Strikes, which is pretty much the best boots you can have for this build. Give a huge amount of energy shield. It gives a lot of mana, it gives you elemental resistance, they give you movement speed. It's just overall very nice boots. I'm using Doriani's Inventation. You can use a rare belt, just as nice. I just use this one because I want that a little bit increased damage and even give you some armor. But you can use a rare belt. Try to get... Actually, I'm gonna show you a belt you can use. If you not have something like that, you can use something like this. A belt with very nice energy shield, give you strength and resistance. So this belt will work just as fine as this one. Just that my damage will be a tiny bit lower when I'm using that. So you can use that one, and you can see now my energy shield is higher. But I like this belt because it gives you When you're using flask, you have a higher chance to freeze enemies, and 0.2% of your cold damage is leeching as life, which are very nice. But you can use something like this. I'm using this ring here again. It's a crit chance ring, so that's very nice. And it gives me mana, resistance, and enemy shield, and all that. It's a very nice ring actually for this build. If you could get cast speed on a ring like this, that would be the perfect, like the ultimate perfect ring you can get. I'm using Malaga as for versus whatever they're called. As you probably know right now, I'm not good at pronouncing things sometimes. But you can substitute these ones for something else. But they're pretty much the best gloves you can have. You can have a glove which gives you armor and energy shield. It would be more defensive, but you will lose on your offensive side. So these gloves are very nice, but they are pretty expensive. I think like 20 chaos orbs. It will cost like something like that. And that's pretty much my gear. I think I go over all of it. If I forgot anything, please let me know. Oh yeah, sorry. I know I forgot to actually mention my armor. I'm using armor like this, which give me a very large amount of energy shield and give me some resistance. It's not the best overall, most amazing armor ever, but it's a very powerful armor and I really like it. The best armor you can probably use in this build, it is Inquisition's Heart, as you can see in screen right now. It's a very powerful armor, give you a good amount of armor also, which actually will decrease your damage you take from melee attacks and physical attacks. It will not give you as much energy shield as this one, but it will give you a various amount of benefits, and it will make you much more stronger against elemental damage. So now I'm gonna go over the gems I'm using. And again, if you have any questions about the gems and my build in general, please feel free to ask me in comments, and I'm gonna do my best to answer your questions. Oh, I pressed the wrong button there. So the first thing I'm gonna show, it is my freezing pulse setup, which are freezing pulse. I'm using a level 19 non-quality freezing pulse, and it is supported by faster casting, cold penetration, life leech, and spell echo. The reason I don't have life leech in a higher level, because I don't really need it to be in a higher level, and I really like to get life back when I'm killing enemies, so I go with life leech. Cold penetration, I have tried many setups if you're gonna use a green, and here's some other gems you can use, because cold skills have a lot of support you can have to them. You can use something like faster projectiles because it's a projectile, so you will hit enemy further away. You can use Ice Bite, one of the new support gems, which when you're killing an enemy, you have about 50% chance to get an frenzy charge, which increases your cast speed and damage substantially, and it also gives you a 10% chance to freeze enemies, which are very nice. And you can use Hypothermia, which which give you more damage against shield enemies, and also have a 10% chance to freeze enemies which are shield, which are very nice. Another thing you can use, it is this one here. It is multiple projectiles. You're firing 2 freezing pulse instead of 1, so you have a lot of options. So just play around with these skills and find the one you like. I have tried many of them. I settled with cold penetration because it will increase your damage to your enemies. And the other things I'm using, I'm gonna go over my aura and mana reserves. I'm using Discipline, Herald of Ice, and Clarity. I'll show them here. Herald of Ice, Discipline, and Clarity. I'm using level 17 Clarity. I also have, I'm leveling up an physical Purity of Lightning, I'm sorry. And I'm leveling up a Purity of Elements. Another setup I have a Summoning Chaos Golem setup, which give me even more protection against physical attacks. And it is supported by life gain on hit, so it will regain some life when it hits some enemies, which makes it even more tanky. And I have minion life, which are supporting my chaos, summon chaos golem. I'm using a teleport setup, which are my lightning warp, which are lightning warp with the classical faster casting and less duration, so I can teleport out of danger very fast. I'm using a curse on hit setup, which I'm using ball lightning, and it is frostbite and ball lightning, curse on hit, and faster casting. A side note with my curse setup, if you want, then I'm probably going to do it when I'm leveling up even more. I forgot to mention it. Actually, I'm probably going to go for Whispers of Doom, so I can have 2 curses, and then I can dual curse the enemies with both Assassin's Mark, like this one, and Frostbite at the same time. Or instead of using Assassin's Mark, I may use what's the name for that now? Elemental Weakness. So the enemy will get really weak against cold damage, and they will probably almost have a negative resistance, which makes them take a huge amount of damage. And that's pretty much my setup. If you have any questions about the build, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I'm probably going to do a lot of another gameplay on this character when I play some maps and show how it works. And by the way, when you're firing a ball lightning on your enemy, this thing, ball lightning, without any support, any passive skill except fast casting, will actually be able to kill enemies by itself. So it's actually doing some damage as well, and I also have a chance to crit enemies. But anyway, I hope you guys like this episode, and tell me what you think about it in the comments, and I will be happy to see you guys next time.